First thing you'll want to do is take off this long panel here with the air vents. And best way is just to get started at the top there. You can actually pull it off with your hands for the most part. These have got these plugs here holding them in, and these ones, so I just remove those. They've all got push tabs just to get that out of the way. Now we're taking out the radio top part. These are all T20 screws, so all BMWs mainly use the same T20 screws, these black ones and everything. So all you really need is a T20 screwdriver for this install. The thing is, they can be quite tight sometimes, these screws. Now, moving this clamp simply pulls forward. That, and unplug the heater controls as well. The more panels we can move out of the way, the easier it's going to be. Change over the head unit. One, pull that down, it goes back up to plug it back in. Put that over there. And then the stereo unit, same thing, T20 screws. After we've removed them, the whole thing pulls forward, nice and easy. We can leave all of these plugged in, so GPS, radio, all of these ones along here, leave them all plugged in. The only one we want to take out is the big black quad lock plug. So I've unplugged the main plug, leave everything else plugged in, and then there's two more screws on the left and the right here. I've popped those out. I can give it a... whole thing pulls off, nice and easy. And then we're just unplugging our display plug. It's this one. These can be a bit easy to do with a flathead screwdriver, I've found. So my cables here, I've got the main wiring harness. This acts as a in-between between this plug, so that plugs into it. And then you unroll this and feed this white plug up to the screen location. So that's pretty self-explanatory. The other cables are the USBs, which also go into the back of the new screen. It's up to you where you put them. If they're long enough, I like to put them in here, but if it's not long enough, maybe I just put them down here, sticking out here. Usually there isn't a hole in the glove box, but if there is, then you can put them in there as well. And then your GPS and Wi-Fi aerials, you don't need to overthink these. These can just stick down anywhere. Any flat plastic surface is fine. Don't overthink that bit. That's it really. So it's only a few cables. Some BMWs have an inbuilt aux switching. So what it means is it's plug and play for the audio for the new system, for CarPlay. Some of them you have to put an aux cable into the aux port in the car. So it's usually here, sometimes in the glove box, but on BMWs usually here. You may have to put an aux in into this one. So just the 1 meter phono cable from here to there. But try it without first, because I'm pretty sure on a 5 Series you don't need to worry about it. But I think it depends on the spec as well, the model, stereo model and everything. So if you don't get any audio on the new system, don't panic. All it will be is you need to plug the aux in. And I just run it up this side and pass it through and plug it into the harness here for aux in. So hopefully that's clear. Now, another note about the sound, your BMW may have fiber optic cables, and these are these two green ones here. Sometimes they're in orange casing as well. If the car has fiber optic audio, you'll have these, and you have to remove these two cables by pushing down on this tab at the bottom to release it, and then you put it back in the same place on the new harness. So insert them in the left hand side of this one, and then that plugs into the unit. Then the audio will still work with the fiber optic. If you don't have these cables, that's fine, that's normal. You don't have fiber optic, you don't have to worry about it. If you do have them, you are going to have to move these over, otherwise you'll get no audio. And finally, with the audio, this one will already be connected to the main harness. So it's either got to be plugged into this aux in here, and then you can test the audio. If you're still not getting audio, you have to unfurl it and run it down to here and use it in that aux in. So it'll be either of the aux ins, it just depends on the model. Yeah. So plug my new screen in, main power plug, USBs, the display plug, GPS and Wi-Fi screwed on. So I'm just going to put that into place. Tuck any wires that are getting out of the way, getting in the way. Just want to move them all out the way of the air vents, just to leave some space for the air vents to go back on nicely. Oops, I'll finish that in a second. That's all cleared, then we put that back in. And then we're just repeating the steps backwards. So plugging in the AC again, plug in the big panel along the front, and when everything's plugged in here, then you can turn the car on and give it a test. So if you've plugged the display cable in, you'll see the iDrive menu still working. You can only control it with these dials like normal, because it's still not a touch screen. But when you touch the screen, it turns to the new menu, which is that one. And then if you want to test the new audio, then you need to connect your phone to the Bluetooth. Connect the phone, let CarPlay connect, or Android Auto, and then start something on your phone. You should be able to hear the audio. So I've connected my phone to CarPlay. I'm just going to start some music. The volume up. Now we need to change the mode. So click on. I'm going to change it in the audio source. Multimedia. External devices, and change it to aux front. And once that's going, you start your music playing in CarPlay and you can hear it's coming through. So there was no need to use this aux port in this BMW. I think the GT models of the 5 Series, I think you do have to, so bear that in mind. Actually, I'm sure you have to. But in this model, sort of base model, don't worry about it. Just plug them in between the screen and the unit, like I showed you. So everything's working, so I'm gonna go ahead and put everything back in its place. So when I'm setting up, home screen, I go to apps, car info, and in here you can go general settings. If you're doing a reverse camera, you can select the reverse camera format. If you've already got a reverse camera, you just need to change it to original reverse camera here, and that will get the camera displaying. Here as well, you can swap the front doors and the back doors, because quite often they're for left-hand drive, so you can swap those around there. Change it to miles per hour, and you can make the full screen display of the original car, so the iDrive going full screen instead of split screen. So there's a few handy things to do in there. Other than that, you can put whatever apps you want onto it. There's a fair amount you can do with it. But Phone Link is the app that does the CarPlay, so you can quickly get into it by swiping down, click Phone Link, and it gets you straight into the CarPlay. Swipe down again, home, gets you back to the home. So when I'm in, all ready to go, I put my USBs down here, 2 USBs and a SIM card holder. So if you do put a phone SIM card in this, just a pay-as-you-go SIM card, you can put it in here, restart the system, and then you'll have constant internet supply. So it's quite handy. Or you can just do hotspot on your phone, but hotspot does disconnect CarPlay, so it's either CarPlay or hotspot. So that's where the SIM card can be handy. Let us know what you think of this installation. If you have any questions, please reach out to us, and we'll see you on the next one.